Aloha nui kako. Today I am here to speak on psychic-ness. What is psychic-ness? And I do feel that psychic-ness, the word psychic, there's so many misconceptions, taboos, half-truths, and just falsities and illusions around what this actually is. And I want to begin with saying I do believe that psychic-ness, or at the very least intuition, is something that is natural to humans. We have a natural gut feeling. We have natural instincts, and you can push these instincts to higher levels and attain new ways of performing, exuding these instincts. And I do think that things like psychic-ness, intuition, energetic sensitivity, there's a reason why us humans have been so stepped away from that, and it's really due to societal indoctrination. And it's so simple as, society or school systems, whatever, tells you that you're crazy, that you're delusional, and then a lot of religion is like, well, you're just going to burn in hell for all of eternity. So it's a very extreme thing, and I'm hoping to illuminate the gray area and also bring forth understanding of what this actually is. For one, quote, being able to see the future or see into the future, that's only a small aspect of what psychic-ness is. And the way that is taught, being able to, quote, see the future, there's a lot of misconceptions and illusions and just falsities in that notion. So being psychic or having psychic capabilities is the ability to see all layers of a situation, person, environment. So when someone speaks to me and they're telling me what is going on with them, or not even that, sometimes it's just I'm talking to someone and I can begin to peel back the layer of who they are and what they're experiencing. What people give off to you is a very surface thing, and a lot of times it's a projection. So when you're in an environment or in front of a person, they are giving off an energy. But there's a way to peel back that energy. This is also being able to observe and not absorb. This is the ability to be at a bird's eye view and see the big picture of things. So when people are accurate in foreseeing, predicting the future, a lot of that is going to come from not just their own senses, but also the ability to see many different outcomes and many different solutions as well. So I have a list here so that I can hopefully be organized in going through this. So it's really to pull back a curtain on what is being presented to you. A great example of that is people beginning to realize certain things that's happening within our government and within just society around us. That is pulling back the curtain. That is illumination, because that entity is projecting something to us, and you utilize those natural psychic instincts, your internal intuitive compass, in order to pull back the curtain and see the truth. So next, what I would like to say is psychic-ness is rationality, okay? And you need to be rational in order to be have an accurate capability on your intuition. So intuition is when you go into a room or you're with a person and you can just feel what that person's feeling. You can feel the energy of that room. Psychic-ness is like, you're not only feeling what that person's feeling, but you're seeing in your mind why that person's feeling that way. You can see visions of their childhood and traumas, and it's because they are giving off an energy form that you are able to tap into. And that is a higher form of things like the gut feeling. Everyone has had that experience where you're around someone and you're like, something is wrong with that person, like they're not okay. Or you're driving and then you get this instinct like, maybe I should go into the other lane. Being able to envision is a higher form and a tool of the gut instinct. So you need to be able to rationalize your body's cues, because your body speaks to you. Again, the internal intuitive compass, your body is a barometer, and there's layers to that. You can go deeper into that, most people just use it as a surface thing. I meet so many people that utilize their psychic nature, but they don't label it as that. They don't see it as that, because not all of it has been brought away from us. Because again, we have an instinct, even like a motherly instinct, women's instinct for other women, instincts that you may have about your lover or your best friend. We know that we can do that as humans, but there is an advanced way of doing that, and that's when you tap into the more metaphysical side of that physical manifestation of your body's cues. When you take a step up from your natural gut instincts, your empathy, your sensitivity, that's when you get into your spiritual talents. We all have spiritual emotional talents that we were born with in this lifetime. Some are more obvious and extravagant than others. Some are more subtle. Some are more behind the scenes. And when you take, again, a step up from gut instinct, that's when you start getting into what your gut instinct exudes itself as, which will translate into things like clairsentience, clairaudience, clairvoyance, the ability to feel on a deeper level, the ability to help people heal traumas, the ability to even sing. If you think of someone like Whitney Houston, that is a psychic singer right there. Whitney Houston is someone whose voice is, and their throat chakra is in such clear connection to the upper chakras, the crown chakra, that she's able to infuse higher dimensional energy into her tone, which uplifts people, which causes so much attraction to her. She is known as the voice, and yes, I know about Hollywood and all of that, but that does not mean that these famous people, some of them do have that God-given talent. And I think just Whitney Houston is a great example of the psychic voice and using tonality in connection to a divine source. Okay, so now there's different ways that psychicness manifests. Visions, being able to see auras, Reiki healers and energy healers, they're able to pull energy, pull trauma out of people's vessel. Dead energy, unneeded energy. Trauma sits in the body. And I always say to people, because I don't do that kind of work, I always say to people, you need to find a good massage therapist, Reiki healer, acupuncture person to actually pull out the trauma that is sitting in your vessel. Then you have people who are extravagant, extraordinary when it comes to meditation, or even things like MMA and art forms such as painting and drawing and acrobats. That is tapping into a divine source or tapping into your own psychic energy. So something that a lot of people don't realize either is that things like mathematicians and people who are incredible at science, I tend to think, because I'm terrible at math. I was always terrible at math and science. I got zeros on math tests while in school. And I think it's because I'm on the same spectrum, but on the complete opposite end, because I'm a seer, I'm a medium, I can speak to the other side. And then people who are on the complete opposite end of that spectrum, I think is where you get people like Nikola Tesla. And he said it himself, and this isn't verbatim, but in a nutshell, he said that until we're able to combine science and spirituality, humans will be stagnant. And I think that's a big reason why we see the kind of stuff happening on this earth. We've plateaued and we're heading into such a strange space because we have not combined the spirituality with the science. And Albert Einstein and Nikola Tesla, a lot of their creations, or at least some of their creations, came from dreams. And they say this, the table of the periodic table that Albert Einstein created, he said that he dreamt that. That is a psychic connection. It's very simple and easy to do research online about the various different scientific discoveries and forms of advancement that were from dreams or inspired by dreams. And that right there is the connection of the spiritual and the scientific. So the scientific, here's the spectrum, spiritual, and all of us reside somewhere within that spectrum. Some of us are more so over here, some of us are in the middle, some of us are more so on this side. And I do believe that people are born with specific talents when it comes to that spectrum. So for example, for me, whatever aspect of the brain that rules over science and math, I lack in. I'm more so lower in. The aspect of the brain that is for psychicness and insight, understanding the metaphysical and the universe and the spiritual, I'm more advanced in. So I do believe that certain people, or whatever, if you were to compare brains, certain aspects of the brain is more ignited, more bright, more advanced than others in certain areas, and specifically in regards to the scientific and spiritual spectrum. Lastly, I would like to end this on my opinion of what it is to speak to the other side, or mediumship work, speaking to people as passed on loved ones or beings in other dimensions and stuff like that. So there's this woman on YouTube, Sloan Bella, who I really love, and I listened to her, and she said something that was so potent to me, so impactful to me. And what she said, and this is not verbatim, but pretty much what she says, and she says this kind of often, is that, in the Bible or whatever, it says that speaking to the dead is evil, or it's the devil's work, or whatever the case may be. And the way that she explains that is, the dead is not our passed on loved ones. The dead is those energies that have stepped away from creation, stepped away, turned its back on the universe. And our loved ones are not dead. Our loved ones have transitioned. They've gone through a door. So the ability to speak to the other side, or mediumship, comes from the capability of being able to tap into the different dimensional existences, the different density existences. So we see animals and plants, elements like air, and well, we don't actually see air, I guess, but we feel it. Water, fire, earth, things like that, rain. We can see those different dimensional existences. However, when you get to the higher dimensions, fourth, fifth, sixth, whatever the case may be, or however you perceive the different dimensions, that's when it's more so the unseen energy, and you need to be able to have different kinds of outlooks and capabilities in order to have that connection, or to have that clear line, that clear tunnel to the higher dimensional existence. And a very good example of that is what people experience when they take ayahuasca, when they take psychedelics of really any kind, DMT, mushrooms, LSD. Those substances open up those pathways that we all have within us in order to connect to and communicate with the other dimensional existences. So for those of us that are, more so on the spiritual side of the spectrum, we have a natural capability to communicate with these other dimensional existences. And again, our loved ones are not dead. They're accessible. Yes, you can be tricked, but that's a whole other conversation. And for that, I have a video talking about things like the truth of the law of attraction and manifestation. And if you go through my how-to playlist, you'll see different videos where I speak on the wolf in sheep's clothing when it comes to the spiritual journey here on this earth, being tricked and stuff like that, illusionary things. Sacrilege is running rampant on this planet, and the way to around that is by stuff like this, being in tune with yourself, where you know and can trust your own spiritual capabilities and flexibility. And then also that goes into your connection with the creator, the true source energy. However, again, it is just to say and give the example that we have the natural abilities, if we choose to tap into that, to open ourselves up to different levels of existence. There's so much going on energetically around us that we cannot see. However, people can, and we all do in other capacities in different ways. So I think I'm going to end that there. I hope to make another video about this in the future. And yes, aloha, and I hope that you enjoyed this video.